Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh my
Is this Ant-Man footage right now? Like, what's going on?
Oh my god.
I'm good. All right, well, that's how you start a podcast right there, guys.
That's right.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Welcome to Give Mike a Mic, Reloaded. As you know, we're here every week to give you some pleasure to your ears, and hopefully you're getting that transfer from your ears down to your bullsack noodles. We appreciate you guys listening to our podcast here.
Wow.
And I mean,
Anybody who doesn't have bullsack noodles, I'm
what's the
sorry.
opposite of bullsack noodles?
Let's just
What are
leave
the
it
opposite
there.
of
Let's just
bullsack
leave it
noodles?
there. I don't know.
We got to make them for the opposite of bullsack noodles. All the ladies out there with, I don't know.
Uh-oh, here we
I'll
go.
say. Hold on,
I'm not gonna say it.
I'm gonna say the crab rangoon. All the crab rangoons out there? No? The bullsack noodles and crab rangoon? No? All right, it doesn't work. Cut that. We're cutting that.
No, we're leaving it.
We're cutting that. So, guys, welcome to this episode. We're here, and I have Alex joining me. I have Harold joining me, and I have Jay joining me. We're not gonna even do any freaking damn
Introductions.
introductions. Yeah, that word. Today, we're just gonna get right into it, guys. Actually, before we get into it, let's do our housekeeping thing. Make sure you're following Give Mike a Mic over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you listen to your podcast out. Make sure you subscribe and you follow on Spotify. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that like button. And then go to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you'll see that rate us button. Rate us 5 stars. You know why. You know why you got to rate us 5 stars. Do I got to say it?
Thought you were gonna let me do it.
No. We let you do that the first time, and it was not good. You and Omar just screaming the mic. I don't know why. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not happy to my ears, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to let people do it that need to do it. So, guys, we're going to be continuing on our path to Halloween.
Yes.
Halloween, of course, is my favorite time of year. If you missed our first episode to kick off, it was myself and Alex reviewing Troll 2, which is an amazing flick. Jay, you didn't like it?
I mean, I literally tried to watch it. I maybe watched the first 10, 15 minutes of it, and I couldn't anymore.
Why couldn't
No,
you?
bro.
What was wrong
You
with it,
missed.
bro?
You missed it.
I know.
Take your time.
So. It was
I know
bad.
I know it's bad, but like, have you watched Birdemic? Have you watched The Room? Have you watched movies like that before?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm only getting into these like bad, good movies. I guess is what we're calling it.
Yeah.
Because of you guys. And
Correct.
that
Well,
one
like
was
Samurai
bad.
Guy.
Bad.
Yeah.
You
That one
have
was just
to.
bad. Like,
But you
that
have
one
to
I
push through it, man. You got to
You
do
got to
it.
push through it.
Just push
Yeah,
through it.
man. Yeah.
It's
Push
more
it to the
entertaining, bro.
limit.
It's not supposed to be a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just entertaining. It's
mean,
entertaining. Like, you laugh at it, bro. Yeah, and it's not supposed to be laughed at, but you laugh at it.
I think those would be
Um,
more fun watching them together. I can't watch that by myself, bro. Are you kidding me?
It's true.
Like if
I mean,
we
I
did
wish-
like one of these watch parties
so
or something, like
what
I could
you
do that.
is we just do like we all get on Xbox, go in a
Yeah,
party.
now
chat,
we're
and then
talking.
watch it together.
You know, we could have done that with Morbius, but no, it was just me and Harold.
No,
Me and Harold.
It's not happening.
It wasn't on Xbox.
It's not happening.
back then,
Bro,
so
you're
no.
the one.
It wasn't
Alex,
on
you're the
Xbox,
one that
yeah,
came
it
up with that
wasn't on
freaking
Xbox.
idea. Let's rent out a movie theater and we'll all go watch freaking Morbius, bro. What the hell? You came up with that. So don't give me that BS. You'll watch it. You'll watch the damn thing.
It was your idea.
Hey, I said after an 18 pack though. Remember that?
Jesus,
so.
18.
Oh yeah, we're 18 pack. I
Had
forgot.
to drive you to the hospital after that.
Oof.
Maybe during it, so that would be the point. That I don't have to finish the movie.
But yeah, I know what you guys mean.
Hopefully you did finish this movie. I don't think someone here didn't watch this movie, but the movie we're talking about today is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. If you know about this movie or don't know about this movie, let me give you some background on this movie. So Halloween 1, well, it's not called Halloween 1, it's called Halloween. Back in 1978, made by John Carpenter and, just a ragtag group of people that wanted to do a scary movie. Introduced Michael Myers to the universe and to the world. And it has never been the same again. He is the epitome of Halloween. The movie is called Halloween. So let's give it due where it needs to be due. And Halloween 2 came out right afterwards. It followed Michael Myers and also Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. As Laurie Strode is in the hospital, Michael Myers comes back to get her. Now, depending on who you ask, because I've had a very lengthy conversation with one of our listeners over the past 3 days, who has never seen the original, or not the original, the new Halloweens that came out, like 2018, the Halloween
The
Kills,
reboot.
and Halloween
I
Ends.
saw
reboot.
just so you know, I guess I only saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet. Halloween
Okay.
Kills. I
So
saw
that's
the
fine.
first one though.
Watch
Get
it
it done.
before Halloween Ends. Yeah,
Oh
get it
yeah,
done.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's acceptable. Yeah. It's acceptable.
So I was having this conversation with this person who thinks Michael Myers is terrifying. Okay, she thinks it's one of the most
Ditto.
terrifying,
Ditto.
killers out there of
Yes,
the
me
scary
too.
movies. Yes, me too. Yes, me too. Now I asked her because she hadn't seen the Halloween reboots. This is going to be a little off topic because Harold could actually talk about this and chime out on this. So she told me that she had just started watching the new Halloween movies because she's going to Halloween Horror Nights and wanted to, get into the spirit of things with the Michael Myers house. But she did tell me that she was not a fan of the reboot, the first reboot here. I asked her, I was like, did you watch the Rob Zombie ones? Just out of curiosity. I was like, at least you liked it better than the Rob Zombie ones, right? And she replied with she just said, So I'm under the impression she did not. She liked the Rob Zombie ones better. She went into this whole discussion about Michael Myers and the psychology of Michael Myers, that they changed him from basically someone who was after Laurie, to get revenge on her or whatnot, just because of the family. Like, she liked the family element of it, that they were related, right? If you haven't seen the first Halloween, that's what they allude to, that Michael Myers kills his sister, Judith Myers, gets locked up, returns to Haddonfield however many years later, and tries to finish a job. Now, I don't know what job she's talking about because it wasn't established in that first movie that Michael Myers was after Laurie specifically. He was just a serial killer.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I feel like he was just there to kill. The only connection that he had to Laurie was when she went to the house, to the old Myers house, and dropped off the key inside a little, mailbox drop off because her dad was selling the house. That's the only connection that they have met before that. And then he goes on and kills all these babysitters, and that includes, tries to go after Laurie and stuff like that. So he's a babysitter killer. Now, Halloween 2, of course, from that one, it just follows Laurie to the hospital, and then they say that they're related at that point. Like, oh, this is your sister or something like that, whatever the case might be. Same thing in the Rob Zombie movies. They continued on with that storyline. I will give the Rob Zombie movies credit for going more into the psychology and flashing back to show like Michael Myers and the kid form, like how he became Michael Myers at some point. I'll give it credit to that. But the new Halloween reboot is basically just a sequel to the original Halloween, to the John Carpenter 1978, where Michael Myers is then established as just a serial killer. And when he escapes Haddonfield because he's on the way to some court thing, the bus crashes, or I think that's even in like some of the older movies. Like I think that was Halloween 4, actually, Return of Michael Myers, where he was going from one mental hospital to the other. In the new Halloween reboot, he's going to a court date or something like that, some court hearing, and the bus crashes altogether. He escapes, goes to Haddonfield. Well, he kills a bunch of podcasters. Hopefully not us, but he kills them on the way to Haddonfield, and then just goes on a killing spree there. And he's just again a serial killer. He just goes into random houses, starts stabbing people, sees people on the street, starts stabbing them, sees Lori at some point, and the whole thing goes on.
He goes on a stabbing crazy.
Stab, yeah, a stab frenzy.
Stabbing frenzy.
So she was trying to establish. She was like, "Listen, I think like the movie it just lost the lore of Michael Myers. I wasn't terrified. I wasn't scared of him. He's just like a random guy now." And he is older and slower, and even the chase scenes, they don't put the music on, blah blah. Like she went on about I don't know what movie she watched.
Yeah.
I have no idea what movie she watched. I'm like, there's more to Michael Myers than what you're saying to me. So I don't know how you guys feel about it as far as the original Michael Myers movies. We're talking about like Halloween 1 all the way to Halloween H2O. That's like its own set of, or Resurrection, whatever it is. I don't know what the last one is. I stopped watching it after Busta Rhymes and all that crap started happening.
Yeah.
So you have that set. Then you have the Rob Zombie 2 movies.
Caca.
And then you have these new reboots on that. So I just kind of want to go around the table. You guys tell me what you think about it. Think about, or tell me what you think about these movies. Which is like your favorite Halloween? Which is your, the style that you like more? They're all very different, and of course, with the changing times, you have better technology, maybe better writing, better visuals on that. But let me know, just visceral, what Michael Myers is your favorite, or what's set, I would say. Harold, we'll start with you since you haven't seen Halloween 3.
My favorite one, I would say, is the original, to be honest. I think just because of the way it's filmed, and I think what helps it also is I don't think with these movies, new technology helps it in certain ways, because I think because the old film is gritty and it's shot in such a way, I think it just adds to the, I don't know, creepiness, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I think if it's too clean, if it's like 4K or 8K or something like that, I don't know, sometimes I think you might lose something. At least that's what I feel. So I would say my favorite one is going to be the first one. I don't like the Rob Zombie ones. I think I have seen those, and it's just forgettable to me. And the new reboot, I enjoy a lot, and I'm excited to see this last one. I like the fact that they flash back and they connect them very well. So I'm a big fan of that. I mean, they're not as scary, I would say. And the reason is, I think what happens with any scary movie, whether it be Nightmare on Elm Street 1, the first one, that to me was terrifying. I remember seeing that, I think at 10 or 11. I couldn't sleep for 5 years. And then I remember when the first time I watched Halloween, I got such a bad stomach ache. I was like, I'm not watching this movie. I was like, the music creeped me out to no end. I was like, I couldn't stand that piano.
Music,
I was like,
Oh,
forget it.
yes.
I'm not watching this. This is too much. But, getting older or whatever, I think that's probably one of my favorite scary movies or slasher movies, whatever you want to call it. But I always think that the first one of any series is always the best one. It's because it's like something fresh that you've never seen. And I think as time goes on, the scary factor just goes away because you've seen it so many times and you kind of already have an idea of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's hard to make things new, even though, like I said, with this new one, the new trilogy that's coming out, or that came out already and is about to end, I just like the way they connect things. It's not super scary at all, to be honest, but I just like the lore. I guess that's what I would say. But yeah, I think the first one is the one that I like the most, and I actually just recently bought the vinyl of that movie,
The
like, so
soundtrack?
the soundtrack, yeah, the soundtrack. from I think Mondo.
Was it the original? The
The
original
original,
like score? Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That must be
Um,
terrifying. Like to play it on vinyl on the speakers, like just shut
yeah,
all the
I
lights
haven't played it
off, and
yet,
that's crazy.
but but I have it. But I
Oh,
have
I
it.
would love that, man.
So yeah, I think the first one is my favorite. I've heard things about the third one. I don't think I've ever watched it because I just heard it was so bad. Michael Myers is not even in that movie, from what I understand, and it's not even I think part of.
No, he's
Is he
in
in
it.
it? I guess I haven't seen it
It's
to a certain
questionable.
degree,
No,
to a
we'll get
very
into
very
it, yeah,
bad
we'll talk-
degree.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
From what I hear,
Yeah.
well, anyways, yeah, we'll talk about it. But I heard that it's so off the beaten path that it's not even considered like canon. That it actually goes
Correct.
1, 2, skips 3, and goes straight into 4.
Yeah.
So there you go. That'll tell you everything you need to know, I guess.
Yeah, and a little just backstory to that. They did have the 1 and 2 that they made with Michael Myers. They decided the studio was like, hey, maybe we should do some, keep the Halloween series going because they only had planned for 2 movies. And then they went ahead and did a third without Michael Myers, so they didn't have a story on top of that. So made Season of the Witch. When they realized how bad it bombed and how people did not find it entertaining, that's
Yeah.
when they brought back Michael Myers. I mean, they basically titled it "The Return of Michael Myers" on that for a reason,
'Cause
just to get people
sorry,
to get back.
we messed up. Is that basically?
We messed up. That's what it was. So great points, Harold. Getting back to right before I go to Jay, I will read a couple messages that my friend sent me as well. She was like, "Here's the thing. This one wasn't scary. It was like a regular movie. At least the Rob Zombie one had an interesting backstory and psychology behind it, which she's right in that way, that it had that story behind it, of course." She said, "I'm terrified of Michael Myers. They stripped down what makes him scary and made him to a typical serial killer. The kills were quick. There were no buildups. Most of the kills happened outside. What made Michael different is that he came into your house." So this is what I don't get, because when he goes back to Haydenfield,
He always goes
he's
to your
in
house.
people's houses. He
Yeah,
goes to the
always goes to your
babysitter.
house.
Yeah.
He kills the babysitter inside the house. He kills the random
He kills
people.
them in
Yeah.
the
He
kills them anywhere.
garage, like outside.
Yeah, he just doesn't
Yeah,
kill them
exactly.
in like broad daylight, to be honest. He kills them somewhere inside. Like even the first kills that he did with the podcasters was in a bathroom in a gas station. So it's not like he's out there just stabbing people out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going and getting them in like an intimate setting, which makes it terrifying. Which makes it more scary. When you have a serial killer that stalks you in places where you feel comfortable or feel safe, like a bathroom or your home, that's when you feel, more terrified of that. So I don't know
Michael-
what she meant with that. Yeah.
Michael Myers is like a Jehovah's Witness. He goes knocking on everybody's doors. Like he
A
just
Jehovah's Witness.
yeah. I mean, come on. What are you talking about?
So she was just mad that they erased the scary monster or whatever. And then she also said this remake was created by someone who doesn't understand why Michael Myers was truly the most terrifying. Again, not true, because it was also made by people that really love the Michael Myers stuff. What's his face? The comedian from Righteous Gemstones.
Oh,
I know David Gordon,
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, and
Danny McBride,
the
yes.
guy
Danny McBride, yeah.
David Gordon Green, I think it is.
yeah, David Gordon Green. I always find
Correct,
it crazy when like, because they're known for their comedies. They're
Yeah.
super into horror. It's so weird, but I think they did a good job. I mean, again, I will say it's not as
They have a lot of dark elements though to their comedy in certain cases, so I could see where that line
Could
kind
blur
of, I
a little
guess,
bit.
turns. But obviously, yeah, they do a lot of comedy, but like This Is the End and stuff like that. Like that was like a super dark, crazy ass
Oh, I
movie.
love
I
This
don't know
Is
if
the
you've
End.
ever seen that one.
That's on
before.
Netflix right now too. So if you haven't seen
Yeah.
that, watch that for sure. She also said that she started watching Halloween Kills. She said that she liked it better than the first one. But then she said, "Oh, Laurie didn't account for firefighters rushing in to extinguish the fire." So at that point, she's just nitpicking, trying to find
Yeah.
anything that she can do. And then she's like, "Oh, she spent 40 years preparing for that. Michael isn't even the one interested in finding Laurie. There's nothing you can say to convince me this wasn't the worst decision that they could have made. It's not the same movie. They took away the scariness, the suspense, the creepiness. Apparently, the
No
dead
way,
doctor is a real
dude.
villain.
Come on.
Michael's just the robot who kills." She said, "I don't understand Laurie's obsession. Why does she think he's after her? Why does she think she brought him to the town?" Like, it was a bunch of stuff. Like, she went, on. Like, she sent me a message almost every every day for the past 3 days. Like I wake up to a message.
Complaining.
The last one she sent, I'm just like, I can't tell you like what's happening on this.
Well, I mean, there
I
is a
don't know
point
what-
where Michael puts what was it? Isn't it it's his sister's tombstone or something like that on in her house? Isn't that what happens in one of
Wait,
the
what?
movies?
Hmm?
Oh,
That
like in the older movies, you're saying?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. Because he
Oh,
thinks
isn't that the one with Paul Rudd, like part 6,
probably
where they
I
have the
don't
cult
remember.
of like there's a cult that's introduced on it.
I
that
don't
could
know.
be it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that he's like because correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that at one point they had established that he thinks that Laurie Struthers is his sister, that he didn't end up killing her, and that's why he continues to go after her or whatever.
So
I
that
don't-
could have been established in those early.
I think
early
so,
movies for sure,
and so
yeah.
that's why I thought. Of course, they debunked that in these new ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys knew this is a little tidbit as well, but that movie originally was not supposed to be called Halloween. It's supposed to be called the Babysitting Murders, something like that.
The original
So-
movie you're saying, right?
Yeah, the original movie.
Yeah. It had a different title. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But
Jay, what do you think about the Halloween series? You know, I don't know if you like the Rob Zombie one the best, or when we're talking about it, you were shaking your head adamantly about it. So
Mm-mm.
I'm assuming it was not your favorite. Which what do you like, or what don't you like?
I'm with Harold. I think the first one, original, is my favorite. I watched it when I was a kid. It absolutely terrified me. But I don't know what this person is talking about with the remake. I mean, they were filmed totally differently, but I felt a little nostalgia with it. You know, in terms of like,
I definitely did. Yeah.
you know,
there's certain shots.
there were certain
that
shots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that it wasn't as scary for sure,
Yeah.
but there were a few scenes like that one scene where he kills that one boy that kissed the girl. That
The one with the
with the
motion
lighting,
sensor lights. Yeah.
and
yeah.
dude, I'm sorry, that freaking scene was
It
freaky.
was
to me.
terrifying.
That
yeah.
was freaky because it was
He's
the whole
like,
thing.
he's all
yeah,
drunk. He's drunk, and he's saying, "Oh, hi, Mister, whatever. I'll get out of your way.
that
Don't worry,
whole
whatever."
Thing was brilliantly done.
It
That
really
scene
was.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene,
brilliantly
as soon
done.
as because I love that shot before he actually stabbed him the first time,
oh my
where
god,
he's just there, he's just standing there. Then the lights go
Yeah.
out, and you expect him to
Yeah.
either disappear or whatever. But as soon as the lights go, even flicker
I-
on, he's
I
like you just see
thought-
a flash right there. I'm like,
There-
holy sh! Yeah.
No, well, wasn't it like that last time it went off and then it came on, he was gone, and then he was behind
No,
him or
he
something?
still wasn't gone.
No, he wasn't gone. But
So the
like,
first time he's behind a tree, he's behind like some bushes. That's when he's first
Yeah.
sees the lights
It's
on.
always creepy.
Then
Yeah.
then the second time, the lights turn off and then turn back on, and then he's
and
like
he's behind
kind
him
of
or
in front of him. No, he's right in front of him.
or in front of
He's
him.
just standing in front of him. Yeah, he's like, oh, like I'll get out of your way. Don't
yeah,
it's
no.
cool, man. No,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
alma, no alma. Yeah,
No,
And
I
then and then that's when the lights go off again, and then he starts to stab him or tries to stab him.
but
Slices
he's
him, I think
close
he does,
at
yeah.
that point. I think
Yeah,
it
he's
comes
so
back on,
close
he's
enough
super
to where he
close.
can where he can slice him. Yeah,
That freaking got me, bro. Even just thinking about it, like I got goosebumps right now. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah,
But
it's a good
that
scene. Those
scene
murder
was
scenes,
amazing.
the murder scenes are really good. Like Haddonfield, as soon as he got to Haddonfield, it was like game over for everybody.
When he killed the podcasters in the bathroom, that whole scene
That was
was
crazy.
especially me, bro, because I hate public bathrooms. Hate 'em.
I hate taking
With
a
a, I
dump.
freaking hate them with a passion, especially like gas station public bathrooms. No, won't do it. And the way that they filmed it, only looking at his shoes, like not even through the cracks, bro. You couldn't even see him through the cracks. You just saw the shadow and the shoes. It was, oh my god, it was perfect.
I have a question.
What?
Go ahead.
Quick question and this is for all of you guys, but in that particular scene you kind of see his head because he doesn't have a mask at that point,
Yeah.
Correct.
and you can see that he's an older guy at this point or whatever. He's lost his hair because he's bald.
That's even in the beginning when they visit him in the
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, when they first
Now-
visit him.
What is your you guys' take on that? Does showing him not showing his face, of course, but this showing
This
his
older
like
guy,
silhouette
yeah.
or whatever, does that take away from the scary? Does it make him more human because he's getting older, he has gray hair, he's balding? It's like, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
the,
know
the
if that,
fact that
yeah.
he's aged kind of humanized him a little bit,
Yeah.
I
But
think they did that as a uh, kind of with a purpose. The filmmakers did that on a purpose. They want to show that he's still human, that he is locked up in a jail. He's incarcerated or whatever, kind of docile in that. The thing that I think when they focused on his face a lot of times in these kills and stuff like that, and it still wasn't his true kills until he gets to Haddonfield. But when he reaches into the trunk and gets the mask, I think that's what they're trying to portray, like that duality. It's like, okay, he's here. He's an older guy. He's an older guy. But
once he puts on the mask.
put your seatbelts on because now is the time where Michael Myers is going to show up. So he kills these guys just to get the mask. Like, it's not even, I don't even think he's mad about anything else about the journalist coming to visit him or anything like that. He just knows that that guy has his mask, that he feels it. And that's when you feel that like that evil intentions kind of burning up. So even though it shows him as an older guy and stuff like that, they did that, I think, with purpose to show like, okay, he's an older guy, he's an older gentleman now. He's not the young spry Michael Myers that he was before. But as soon as he puts that mask on, because that's in the shot right after he kills those guys, he goes right to the trunk, puts that mask on, and the Halloween theme music plays really slowly, just a piano, and then he's off to the races, and he just goes straight to there. Yeah.
But in comparison with the new ones and the old ones, the old ones were just so much more simple, and been back in the day, since we had never, that was kind of a unique story at the time. You had that kind of shock factor and everything. It was really dark lighting. I really I appreciate the difference in like the cinematography and the lighting aspects of it as opposed to now. I mean, you can see it, they modernized it big time with the new ones, but I still enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch the second one. I haven't seen it yet. The Kills.
See, and I think that's a good one too, because it does connect a lot more, I think, to the original movie, because there's a lot of characters that then reprise their roles, like some of the original, the kids that Laurie babysat for, like they're actually in the movie.
Nice.
Like they recast them, and there's a lot more to it as well, as far as like commentating on like some social stuff that's happening. It's very, very small, but if you ask Omar, if you ask him, evil dies tonight, and this mob mentality that was happening, kind of like reflected well there. And I think it was right around the time that like the pandemic was happening. I think that released like right pandemic year, right? Like 2020 or yeah, it was 2020, I think,
Kills?
or 2019.
Yeah, I think so.
Kills, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it
2020.
definitely fed into a lot of what was happening too, like socially, like, protests and stuff like that, and how this mob mentality can overcome us. And talking about like evil, there was a lot of stuff that they touched on that, which I appreciated there as well. So I think you'll like the second movie probably better than the Halloween reboot. I don't know how. Harold, did you like the first or second one better? Halloween or Halloween Kills?
Man, which one was the one that showed the doctor, like the flashback with the doctor and everything? I think it
that
was
was
the
the
first
second one.
wasn't?
Yeah.
Was it
That
the
was the
second
second
one? I
That they
liked that a
CGI'd
lot.
his face and all that. Yeah.
He looked like, I was like, whoa, is that the guy? Because it looked exactly like him.
Loomis,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
like Loomis, yeah.
So I really like that whole how they brought in the cop. Oh, that scene with the cop where Michael Myers has his partner or whatever
Mhm.
in the actual house. That was just good. So I think I like the second one better.
Yeah, there was a lot of kills and gore on that one, and then they still had the the comedic elements with the gay couple, Big John and Little John.
Yeah,
I
Big John and
freaking
Little John.
love them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the second
I do like the
one's-
second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, last but not least, I read you the comments and the text messages that I received. You've heard from Jarito and the Plátano, and they have given us their thoughts on what they thought about Halloween. So, just to bring it back around, man, how do you feel about Michael Myers? Are you a big fan of the original set from Halloween to H2O Resurrection? Are you more of a fan of the Rob Zombie 2 duo ones, or are you, getting into the new trilogy that's about to hit here?
Man, to be honest, Halloween 3 is like my favorite movie of all time.
I will murder you.
Like it's
I will
literally the
murder
best
you.
one.
Actually, it is. Here,
You're
here you
No,
go.
no, I'm just kidding. No, please turn that off. Please turn that off. I'm gonna have
Okay, never
nightmares right now. Literally, I love the original ones. I'm gonna say that. Like all the originals except for 3. I watched all of them when I was younger, and I still watch them to this day. Like when Halloween comes around, it's always like in rotation for me. Um, I think a lot of why I enjoy it more is because I said a lot in like previous episodes of the podcast that I like a lot more practical effects and like the original ways of storytelling and relying on that more than special effects or gore and things of that nature. Like obviously I appreciate the kills and how gruesome things can be, but I think like part of what made the originals so great was just like the mystery factor. Like there wasn't a lot shown of Michael, and you're just kind of like trying to figure out who this person is and this character. And obviously over the course of the years they've unraveled more of his mystery and who he is and what makes him tick and all that. So I will say, like, I think the Rob Zombie ones did a good job of obviously the backstory and explaining him as a kid and how he had like these first kills of animals, and which they say most serial killers start that way, where they're killing things that they can control and that are in
Yep.
their element, and then eventually they move on to actually killing people. So I thought that was kind of cool that they actually like leaned in on that and the psychology of a serial killer, I guess. But I think the Rob Zombie ones were just like, for me, there was just so much like cursing and unnecessary cursing, just like F bombs everywhere, like left and right, and it just took away from like the
I can
main
agree with that,
storyline
yeah,
in
because
general. Like I don't
it's very vulgar in the way, and I mean, Rob Zombie movies are generally like that. You watch House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. It's very vulgar in the way, not only that it's written, but also like gore wise and stuff like that. So, even that,
exactly.
what was it, the bathroom scene we were talking about in the reboot? I remember that happening in the Rob Zombie one with the black guy that's in the toilet. That he comes out like the big black guy. He's like, "Hey, like, you want to start something, you want to
Yeah,
blah blah blah," and then
exactly.
he gets stabbed, obviously. But that whole scene, like the difference, the contrast between maybe having too much dialogue and then not having a lot of it, like in the reboot, where it's just you just see teeth falling on the floor, you just see his shoes underneath the stall,
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think is fear more, where you don't see what's coming to you, and you have.
And that's where like the comments you're reading from this listener, like I appreciate people giving their feedback, and it's great, but I honestly don't see how the reboot now is not as close to the originals as it can be, because with Rob Zombie, as much as I still appreciated those films at the time, because I'm like I like Spider-Man movies, right? I like all of them over the years, even though the third one is trash to me. I still watch all of them because I'm just a Spider-Man fan, right? I even like the ones with Andrew Garfield, even though a lot of people didn't like them. So like, there's always going to be new reiterations and storytelling, in that sense. But I just feel like these new ones, tonality wise, get it right in terms of the psychology of the originals, and that like Michael isn't being talked to or cursed at like every 5 seconds and then he kills somebody. Like there's no need for that. Like it's more the person sitting in silence on the other end, like what is about to happen to me. Like that's kind of where you always feel that terror in the original movie. So for me, I think the originals obviously are my favorites. The new ones I enjoy as well, though, because I feel like they're really trying to get back to the original style. And you see that, like you said, with Halloween Kills more, where they're bringing back the original characters, like you mentioned, and trying to keep that story like fully going from the first movie. So I feel like this next one, it will be interesting to see maybe more of how they take from the first Halloween and try to keep that story going into this third one, and maybe touching on things that we didn't see from that. But yeah, I don't know. I can't understand how someone would think the Rob Zombie ones are better than this new reboot. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I took these comments with like, I was like, you know what? I could go on and on. And I told him, I was like, listen, next time I see you, we're going to get some drinks and I'm going to prove you wrong. Now, this person always likes to debate anyways. Like, we went to high school together and they are like a master debater.
but did you say that they watched the originals?
They did watch the
or
originals.
no?
They
Like, they've
like
seen
the originals. Like, they really enjoy the originals.
Okay.
And thought Michael Myers was terrifying back then. I just don't see why they would see it otherwise for these new ones. I'm just like, he's still terrifying in his own way, but it's also a sequel that was what, 40 years, 30 years, I don't know how long, 40 years in like in the future that you're skipping. It's like, and I don't know if maybe they wanted more of a connection between like Michael Myers and Laurie, but Laurie has like trauma. Laurie has paranoia. Like, Laurie is a whole different character now in these new ones, which you could take that with good or bad, but I think even Jamie Lee Curtis does like the approach that her character is taking now, than just being like a dumb, helpless babysitter. Like, oh, is that the boogeyman? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of
Well,
trauma.
you have to think that her as a character, if she's been locked up in this house and literally just trying to avoid any contact with Michael or any conflict or anything, it's gonna make you go crazy as a person because you're literally living in the same space.
And not only that, but she was training her daughter to like defend
She's
herself.
paranoid.
She booby trapped that house. She
Booty trap.
booty trap. Yep, booty trapped the house.
That's what I
And
said. Booty trap.
Booty trap. And then she also, like when they talk about, this was the original cop that was on the scene. What's his name? The Paxton
Yeah.
guy. He's like, this is the original cop on the scene. She's like, well, I wish every day that he would come back so I could fucking kill him myself. Like that stuff like that is someone that has been through some shit. Like that's trauma. That's a victim. Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like about, I was just gonna say that's the one thing I didn't like about the movie was that that cop and the
Bro, I didn't like him, man. Remember the
No, I like him. I didn't like how he went out, bro. He went out like a freaking punk.
Oh, that's because you haven't seen the sequel yet.
He got his head run over, bro.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, dude. Come on.
No, that was a different cop.
I'm talking about the
No, I thought it was the first. The first one isn't the cop gets his head run over.
He gets yeah.
He's laying down bleeding out, and then the
this
reboot.
new one, Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018.
You're not talking about the main cop, are you?
The main.
The guy from
You got
Remember the
freaking-
Titans?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But we don't see what happened to him. The doctor
we
goes out of the
do.
car and stabs him.
Stabbed him right in the neck, bro.
All right, I
Oh,
think
that's
you gotta go
right.
back
Yeah,
and then he
every
ran
single
over
watch
him.
it.
You gotta.
Jay, you gotta
yeah.
watch the sequel.
But you gotta watch the sequel.
There's no way he comes back from that, bro.
You gotta watch the sequel, man.
Whatever, bro. I'm gonna watch it, but there's no. I don't believe
Surprise, mother.
it. Dude, no
He
way.
died, motherfucker.
The only other thing I wanted to touch on was Jay was talking about like seeing him old, like seeing his shadow and stuff. Like that didn't bother me because like in the older movie, I guess in this like it's brighter and you see him more obviously, but in the older movies you always see him like when he's escaping the asylum, like you kind of catch a glimpse of him like jumping on the car, so you could like see his hair and like his face a little bit, but they don't really show his face. I guess
They never show his face.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that ever took away from me feeling like he was less menacing. So, and honestly, the girl that was talking about how that he's slower, like she needs to watch Halloween Kills if she hasn't
Bro.
seen it yet, because he was
Slow, whatever.
jacking
But
people up in
that's
that
the thing.
one.
It's like he made whatever. I mean, you want to call him slow, but he was taking shots and he was just like, "Dunk," and like nothing happens.
Well,
You know what I'm
the
saying?
thing is, it's kind of like, I don't know the irony of it. She was like, he was moving slow, but the kills were quick. So I'm like, honestly, then that means he's not moving
I mean,
slow. Like
No,
I
I
understand the
think
quick
I know what
kills.
she means. I think I know what she means by that, though. I mean, the kills
maybe
were
walking
not
slow,
as-
but he's never been the one to run.
No. I think
He's like that in the
That's his
originals.
thing. From the very
Yeah.
first one, I remember because I was hearing a podcast that basically they told him to walk like that. He had a specific walk and everything, and just a way of standing. Like they made it like an effort to be that way. You know what I mean? And I think at one point in one of the movies, I don't remember which one because again, I heard the commentary on this one, but the actor was different and he was moving quicker, or he would stand in such a way that wasn't indicative of the old ones, like the style that was already on there. And it just threw the whole thing off. So I don't see him walking slow or fast. I thought that he did a good job in this one. So
but there was like a few of the kills is what I think I can understand where she's. It's a she, right?
Yeah.
The girl that okay. So where she's coming from is like, for example, in that scene with the motion sensors, the way that boy died, right? He got caught in the thing. He's like screaming for help. He comes up behind him, and my thought is this guy just gonna stab him and it's done? He just stabs him in the back. It cuts away. I'm like, ah man, freaking
Yeah, but that's how
whatever.
the original
That-
was.
But the saving grace was when you turn back. It cuts back to the face of the boy, and that he's his freaking thing is, and I was like, oh, okay, good. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now
the money
that was
shot.
a good kill. The money shot. You know, but I get what she's.
But the thing is, he has some kills that are like that. Like they're slow and methodical, and then he has ones that are like super aggressive. Like Halloween Kills, like there's ones
That
where
kid
he's
who
like
got killed in the
Yeah,
in the
all
freaking
right.
stabbing
staircase,
people, like
the guy who got his head in that
Yeah.
that wasn't cool. That wasn't chill.
That,
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
you don't do that, bro.
No, you don't do that, Michael Myers. You were wrong for that, Michael
Yeah, it
Myers.
was like some of the kills in the second one were a lot more.
It was. I think
gory
it was perfect,
than,
I think
though.
you know what I think it is like the first one, from what I remember, the kills, a lot of them happen off camera.
Or they were
There's a
like
lot-
really close ups.
There's a lot
There were
where
close
they
ups.
pan.
You just
and
saw the
then-
knife.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It was that style.
No, you're talking about the
of,
original. You're talking about the
The
original.
original, yeah, right.
The
Is that what you're
reboot
saying?
itself, there's a lot of stuff that was off camera.
It's like they pan the
That
camera
was
and
off
then you
air,
see a
yeah.
guy with
Yeah,
like
off
his
air.
jaw like
Like the
completely
guy,
ripped out
I'll
or
tell you, like
something.
the babysitter's boyfriend. You don't see him kill. You know, he hears the girl upstairs, and then he's like, "Oh my god," whatever her name was. Like, I don't know what the babysitter's name was. Like Jamie, and then he's like, you see her go off.
Jamie.
Jamie, like he goes up. He goes upstairs.
run to the chopper, Jamie.
Why you gotta sound like Arnold, bro?
That's what it
Jamie.
sounded like.
Every time, bro.
It is Arnold. That's an Arnold line.
Get out,
From,
Jamie. Do it.
Jamie. He knows my name. Jamie. The Turbo Man, dog. Get the Turbo Man.
It's
So
Michael
he
Myers.
Get down. So he's like,
Get down. Like
Get
that's gonna
down.
help.
Jamie, get down from the stairs. Get down.
Jamie, start running.
Run.
Getting down
Run,
doesn't help.
Jamie. Don't drop down. No, just run. Just run,
No,
Jamie.
keep running, Jamie.
Keep running just down the stairs. Not down on the floor, just down the stairs. Jamie.
Oh my!
What are you doing, Jamie?
What are you
You
doing?
son of a bitch. Jamie,
Oh
you
my God.
son of a bitch.
Michael, come here, kill me, Michael. I'm here.
Jamie, I'm right here.
I'm
Stick
right
around. So,
Oh my
anyways,
God.
I got way off topic.
Sorry.
Okay.
Way off.
So he
way
yells
off.
for he yells at the babysitter. The next shot is the cop going in to investigate. And while he's investigating, he goes upstairs, sees a babysitter. We don't really see how she gets killed either. She's just under a sheet. And then when he goes downstairs to investigate, you hear him like sighing and panting. And you see the babysitter's boyfriend on the wall,
Yeah.
stuck with a knife, like butcher's knife, just hanging there. So
That's
you don't
old
see the
school.
kills.
That's old
Yeah.
school. Yeah, that's old school
That's
too.
old school.
So you don't see the kills, but you see what happens, like the aftermath,
Afterwards,
like
yeah,
what happens. And sometimes that's again one of the most terrifying things of Michael Myers, where you don't have to see the kill happening. You just have to see like what happened. Just your thoughts and your imagination run, because even in that same movie, the reboot, he goes into the kitchen to get his butcher knife, the first knife he gets. But at first he gets a hammer from the garage. And I don't know if you guys noticed, it was a one-shot camera. Like they follow Michael Myers as soon as he gets from Haddonfield. Yep. He goes into the garage, grabs the hammer, goes into inside. He sees a butcher knife on the kitchen. He goes off camera, and you just hear a banging, like a hammer kills the old lady, grabs a knife. The camera still follows him out, and you see the aftermath of what's left of that lady. And then even when when he goes into the other house, the next house, where that girl's on the phone, like, oh, thanks for checking up on me. I'll make sure I'm safe. Don't worry about it. He goes right behind her, goes inside somehow because he sees a reflection at first in the mirror in the window, which is creepy. Goes inside, goes behind her, smashes her face just on the table, and then stabs her neck. Just straight up stabs her in the neck. And that's it. That's the kill. So it's a quick kill, but super effective. I mean, I don't know if they want like a ghost face. Like every killer is different. Like Freddy goes into your dreams, kills you there. Michael Myers is one of these just methodical walks everywhere and stabs you quick. Ghostface is just like he'll stab you 20 times just to make sure that you're dead. Because of
He'll
who's
chase
behind
you
that
around
mask.
too.
He'll chase you around. He'll run. He'll run and chase
with you.
Yeah.
He'll run with you.
You don't give a shit. But that's also because you think about the people that are behind the mask. And Scream in that series, it's always like a kid or a high schooler or maybe an older college kid or whatever the case might be. That's behind that mask. In Michael Myers, you have this guy who's always been methodical, been slow, and he's older, so he's going to be maybe even slower, but still with that same intent. Like he doesn't change from movie to movie to movie to movie. He's always the same type of killer. So if you want someone that runs around and stabs people like all the time, there's movies for that. You know, even in Hellraiser, you don't like nobody has a knife. There's chains that just whoop up on here. You're in hell. Here you go.
Yeah.
Get chained up and we'll just drain your blood. That's it. So there's killers for everybody out there. But Michael Myers is one of those classic ones, like Harold said, like we've all said, that just doesn't change over the years. The story might change a little bit, but that's it. Yeah. He's not Jason Voorhees. Yeah.
In the first movie that Jay's watched, I don't know if you've noticed this or if you caught this, Jay, but in that part where the podcasters get to, I think either the gas station or wherever it is, they get in the gas station. He actually walks in the background. You see him in the daylight.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? I was like, because I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, and then until I heard it on a podcast. And I was like,
he's on the background. You see a white, just a silhouette, just a shape, which I love that they refer to him as a shape again in this movie throughout it. Because that's originally how he's credited. He's not credited as Michael Myers. He's credited as the shape in the actual credits. So they go back to that, which is the original thing. And then you see him when the guy goes into the gas station or the girl goes to the bathroom. You see Michael Myers like in the background, also like a second shot in the background where he's like beating up the gas station clerk.
Yeah.
And then when you see his face just freaking mangled up, you know exactly what happened there. It's like, again, one of those things where you don't have to see the kill. You just have to see like what Michael Myers did. And that's all that matters.